Thank you very much for your comments. I'm going to do another response because somebody talks about the Victorian age and suggests that I'm dependent on Wikipedia. I don't think I am particularly. I have great devotion to the Victorian age. In fact, I've been trying for the last decade or so to make an animated film about, or an animated version of the Gilbert and Sullivan operetta Trial by Jury. I have great interest in this period. 63 years of progress and empire, so not all of it necessarily good, but all of it intentionally progressive. It was all about change and the desire to improve the self and others, inflicting improvement on everybody, whether they needed or wanted it or not, whether they asked for it or not. The whole ethos of Victoriana was about this extraordinary progress. So if somebody's going to study the Victorian period, then I think that's a very valuable period to study, because it encapsulates some of the best and some of the worst things that we have inherited today, particularly the idea of control, particularly the idea of industrialization, urbanization, and I say control, power, this obsession with power. But what the Victorian period did was to expose the inequalities in our society, to expose the superiority of parts of our society, to expose the raw mechanics of power, of control, of division. So it was a pivotal, a parochial, yes, it was very insular, and a patronizing thing. It was it's got a few P's in there. But, you go back to James Watt and George Hudson, who made money out of all of this. And then on the other hand, you've got people like Henry Mayhew, who recorded the problems. And W.S. Gilbert, of course, let's get back to W.S. Gilbert, who satirized so much of this. He had his finger on the pulse of what was going on. So even before The Mikado, when he was satirizing control and the brutality of our society, he was he had earlier satirized the aesthetic movement and this this emperor's new clothes syndrome of art that was not understood. If he'd lived a little later, he would have satirized Cubism, which of course Noel Coward tried to do not terribly well with nude violin or whatever it was, with John Gielgud, one of the weaker Coward plays. But yeah, this I'm afraid I speak from passion about this, and W.S. Gilbert, the other half of Gilbert and Sullivan, was a phenomenal character. Not a terribly nice man, I think. When he died, and people asked his wife if life was bearable without him, she said, "Well, it's much less exciting, and it's quieter." I think W.S. Gilbert was a difficult man. They had a statue of Charles II, I think, in their garden, and she donated it back to what is now Soho Square. So in my first visit to London, when I was 11 years old, I remember seeing that statue and thinking how wonderful it was, and I hadn't realized that there was already a link with W.S. Gilbert, who I liked. I'm very captivated by W.S. Gilbert, by Edward Lear. My heart is very much in the arts that come from the Victorian period, even the early part of the Victorian period, with what on earth is the movie? The Brotherhood, the pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. which of course feeds into Edward Lear, because Holman Hunt and Lear were friends. So yes, I'm afraid not Wikipedia, but the caverns of the mind, and the same sort of issue is raised by MandyAustin, who says 502, any proof of this? And I think she's referring to my hair, and whether I copy Boris. I don't copy Boris. That was the point of the comment. Boris is younger than me. Just do the maths. And Boris was an undergraduate after me, and I can remember on a number of occasions meeting Boris. And certainly in those days, Boris's hair was significantly neater. My hair has always been the same. So if anybody copied anybody, Boris copied me. And that is the point of the comment, and I don't think I need any other proof other than a sort of demonstration of coiffuring and or not coiffuring, the disorganization, a demonstration of disorganization. Almost the only time that I have used a comb was on a television program called The Circle, where they insisted on me combing my hair in front of a mirror, which I found rather absurd. And wash and go, that's on the bottle, and that's what I do.